Hi, I'm Chris Dutton with 6th Sense. I lead our marketing operations and demand gen team here. Today we're going to be talking about pipeline intelligence. So let's talk about how we get started. Previously, what you would have historically done is you would have used your pipeline template, you would have loaded in your revenue targets, you would have brought in those human assumptions, and you would have gotten pretty close to where your pipeline goals should have been. But by leveraging PI in the planning module, what that allows you to do, it allows you to take those revenue targets and let PI do all of the work for you. It's going to take all of the human assumptions out of the equation. It's going to use all of the historical data, and it's going to model out what your pipeline plan needs to be for the year. And it's going to allow you to see down to the month and or quarter. What you're looking at now is a model that is basically showing us how much pipeline we have to go and create in order to hit our revenue targets. And the way that we got to this plan was we loaded in all of our revenue targets for the year, and then we modeled back a look back period to say, hey, I want to know what we did and how we performed over the last 2 years, and we're going to use those assumptions. And what you're seeing here in front of you are exactly that modeled out. So as an organization, I now know the amount of pipeline that I have to go create in order to hit my revenue targets. The other really nice thing about this that's just really helpful is the forecasting capabilities. I don't know about you, but it has been always a very extremely challenging exercise to forecast. Usually that is a simple math problem of the amount of days left in the month, the average amount that you're creating, and then you model that out, you create a range, and you cross your fingers and hope that you're somewhere remotely close. This takes all of the guesswork out of that. This is going to tell you exactly where you need to be from a forecasting perspective. It's going to tell you if you're high or low. The nice thing about that is if you're low, that gives you an opportunity to course correct early, right? What are those things that you need to go and do to fill those gaps to help make up those misses? Let's quickly draw our attention over to one of my more favorite carve-outs, which is the ability to look at pipeline by channel. So a lot of organizations may have different channels. You might have a sales channel, you might have an inbound channel, or an outbound channel. Whatever your channels are, you do want to have the ability to measure those. Not only is it going to tell you where the pipeline's coming from, but it's also going to overlay that with the forecasting capability. So if your teams have goals, this is a great way for them to get in there and understand, are they doing enough to hit those goals? Do they need to be doing more? Or are they crushing it? And they're going to blow those goals out of the water, so we need to give them higher goals. But this is a great way to be able to do that and empower your team to make those decisions, to look at those programs that are performing and double down on those. The other thing I'd like to draw your attention to is when we go look at the performance. Now, this is really insightful. This is actually telling me where those deals are closing. Now, let's go over, I'm going to hover over here on September of 2023, FY23. And what this is telling me is that 202 opportunities have gone on to close in future months. Now, why do I care about this? Well, I want to know what did we do in September that had such an impact on that pipeline. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at the channels. I want to know where that pipeline came from. Which channel crushed it? In this example here, I can see that the outbound absolutely nailed it. Now I can go back to the outbound team and I can say, hey, what did you guys do in September that was so amazing? Because you had the highest amount of opportunities closed that you ever had in the history of the company. Not only that, I can go look at win rates, and I could see that they had the highest win rate as well in that given time period. So there's a lot of really interesting data points here that I can use to empower my team, provide them with those insights, so then again, they can either course correct or continue doing more of what they're doing to continue to hit those pipeline goals, which then will allow the organization to hit their revenue goals. So in summary, why should we care about PI? Predictability, forecasting, being able to have direct line of sight into the pipeline that you're needing to hit those revenue targets, and being able to identify potential misses and double down on what's really working.